And we're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. Of course, we are here. We are back. It is TNT, the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling. We're going to be available now on our own YouTube channel, on our own Apple Spotify, on our own radio. Well, not our own radio station. We're going to be available via roystonradio.com. Of course, we are no longer going to be affiliated with Body Slam, which is where you would have seen us previously for the last year and a half, actually, of the podcast almost. Always go check out our old podcast available on bodyslam.net. And we thank bodyslam.net for hosting us for so long and allowing us to promote British wrestling for so long. So if you're new to us, that's what we do here. We talk Great British Wrestling. I am, of course, the Great British Attacker, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy to most. I am the host. I have a co-host. His name is Big Daddy Dan, Mr. Daniel Allen, Councillor Daniel Allen, in fact. But we'll get into that. Daniel, welcome back, man. We're back.
It's good to be back. I have missed this, Andy. I've missed you. Big hugs going all the way up north.
Indeed.
It's been a while. I've got to admit, a chunk of it's my fault because I've been incredibly busy and Andy's been incredibly supportive. But we are back. We are committed. We are going to be doing this on the regular, and we're going to make sure that you get all the British wrestling news that we can cobble together. And by we, I mean Andy.
Yeah, and we're going to try and fit that into a nice little hour package because, that's what we've always done. We've always talked British wrestling. We will talk some European wrestling. And, of course, we will talk about what British wrestlers are doing abroad and who for WWE at New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, WXW Germany, all of that.
Dude,
Of
we've only
course,
got
we
an
will
hour.
talk
Stop
about.
listing them all.
I know, it's just too many. Let's start off. WWE, of course, come in. Money in the Bank. It's coming soon. It's happening. When's it happening?
The premium live event is coming to the UK very soon. You haven't written down the exact date, but it is soon. Personally, I'm not that bothered. I haven't been watching WWE. I watched the Royal Rumble. I enjoyed it. I watched Mania. I enjoyed it. I thought the Bloodline story's been great. I think Gunter's amazing. And I have seen that Pretty Deadly are the number one contenders to the Tag Team Championships. So that I am excited about.
Yeah, I did see that. Yes, you're right. I don't follow WWE either. When we put up the suggestion, it was our good friend, the tribal chief, the leader of the Big Fat Geeks, Mr. Steven Stallman, put to us that we got to talk about how well the British stars are doing in the WWE right now. I
And they
had a
are.
look at this, and none of the women have been featured in over a month.
That's because Vince is back in control, isn't
No Piper
it?
Niven, no, Albert Fry and Isla Dawn turned up on SmackDown, beat a tag team, and they haven't been back since, which is very much a shame. But Pete Dunne is going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which is fantastic. Great to see. He is the only British representative so far. Maybe they can squeeze one into the what's it called, the women's ladder match as well, if we
I'm
could
sure they
please.
will. Sure
Just
they will.
you got Tegan Knox, Piper Niven, Nikki Cross, Eva Valkyrie over on. Oh, she's Lyra Valkyrie now, isn't she?
Yeah.
But Pretty Deadly, yes, boys. I long said for ages. You go back to all the way when we released our own stuff on our own Spotify originally. You will see me talk massively about how great Pretty Deadly were as a tag team, how I thought they could easily become one of the best tag teams in the world. And well, the prophecy is coming true. I was right.
Yes. Yep. No two ways about that. They are definitely taking control. They are absolutely phenomenal. I think they are going to be the biggest Brits in a long, long time, up until Blair Davenport finally makes it to the main roster.
Yes, but she's technically a New Zealander.
I think she's honorary.
Because I actually realized something when doing this is out of no English woman was kept.
No,
There are Scottish, there are Welsh, there are Irish, but there are no women from England. I think Ginny obviously was kept due to her injury, but of course she's now retired. Love Ginny and wish her all the best for what she's doing right now. But yeah, no English women were actually kept.
And we need more Nina.
We need more Nina. They should definitely bring back Nina Samuels. Oh, Nina Samuels recently in the Super Strong Style 16. Let's go into Super Strong Style 16. It was an amazing weekend. I was there live. If you want to listen to my full review, go check it out on the Irish Wrestling Podcast, along with Mark O'Brien, somebody I worked with back in my Body Slam days, actually. He invited me on. Of course, he was there as well for an excellent showing. And Nina Samuels and Alexis Falcon, that midnight match. I had my reservations. I really did. I was going into this and I'm thinking, what are we going to see here? How's it going to work? And it did start slow, and the crowd was very quiet for a period. But wow, Nina and Alexis, they pulled it back. They took control. And if it had not been for Kid Lycos winning the tournament on that night, it would have stolen the show.
Did Kid Lycos win the tournament that night?
He did win the tournament that night. And
who was it who had an idea that might happen?
It was me, wasn't it?
It was. And you can watch it on Saturday at 5 p.m. when it goes live on Demand Progress. And of course, remember that if you sign up to Demand Progress and you haven't before, you get 2 free weeks.
Exactly. Watch all 3 shows on one day or over a weekend. It was fantastic. It really was. It made me love wrestling again. I was feeling creatively burnt out, but after the weekend, I really just want to get back into podcasting. Thankfully, the Irish podcast obviously allowed me to go on there and talk about how I got 7 out of 8 predictions on the first night. I got 3 out of 4 predictions on the night, and then but Kid Lycos winning. It was huge. It was a huge moment. Let's talk about it. After all 16 names have finally been announced, we put it into the group chat. We talked about who we thought possibly could win. Now, originally my first pick was Mark Haskins.
Yep, that was a good pick.
I had a good spot for him. I had the reasons why I thought he would do it, and he was a finalist. You picked Luke Jacobs.
I did.
Who was a semi-finalist, only beat him by Mark Haskins. But I came back a couple of days later and just said, you know what? I think Kid Lycos is going to win. And Stephen was like, why is that? And I said, well, he's been on this huge redemption arc. Go all the way back to his match with Chris Brooks for Progress and how great that match was. His matches against Chuck Mambo as part of the Sunshine Machine and the single match, the Hair versus Mask match. The fans were really getting behind Kid Lycos because of this. And he had really, you hear the term, you deserve it. And it's not just because you deserve it. He earned it he deserved it because he earned it. He had been working his ass off. He had been putting on better matches than he had ever put on. And considering he's Kid Lycos and he always put on a good match anyway, that, he was on another level. He's increased his mass, his size. He's not that skinny Kid Lycos that he used to be. And then you mix in the fact that Chris Brooks won King of DDT like a few weeks before the Super Strong Style 16, and I was just like, everything's lined up for him. And on the first night, he had the biggest pop when he beat Big Damo. On the second night, he had the biggest pop when he beat Nick Wayne. And when he went on to finally, beat Dastardly Nathan Cruz, and then Mark Haskins with a little help by Nigel McGuinness, it was an epic moment. And he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. And he didn't deserve it because he's a long member of Progress. Because one of the reasons I said, is a reason behind it is he out of everybody there kind of represented both the past, the present, and the future of Progress all in one. And I don't even think anybody else, bar maybe Luke Jacobs, encompassed that. But Luke Jacobs didn't have as long tenure. So I just had to be good Lycos for me. And what a win as well. It was brilliant.
It's going to be shitty Big Wolf soon.
Yeah, it is. It was literally, it is Big Strong Wolf. It is literally the chant for a lot of it. You should definitely check it out on Demand Progress. And of course, you had the CPF.
Yes. Now, this match I definitely want to see because I've been thinking about when CPF will fall apart. I've been thinking about that for a little while because, I'm an evil wrestling fan and I can't have nice things. And CPF is a nice thing.
It's a great thing. It's an amazing thing. They are four of the most talented young British wrestlers on the scene right now. We're talking Maverick Mayhew, Just Joe Lando, Danny Back, and of course the Prince of Pace, Callum Newman. It was, as you can see there, and I've supported the hat purposely there, right? Prince of Pace, CPF. Okay, he's CPF. It should be CPF for life. Okay, this should be like Bullet Club stuff, right? It was absolutely heartbreaking, honestly, to see it kind of capitulate, and it all starts on day 2, which is available now on Demand Progress. With Callum Newman saving Will Ospreay from post beatdown from Nathan Cruz. He then sort of like, let's have a match. Let's have a match on Progress. We haven't done it in over 2 years. Of course, they've had that match now. It happened on Rev Pro UK, and lots to discuss right there as well. And we'll certainly get into it. But yeah, he's won in this match. Out come the rest of the CPF. Brilliant moment for Maverick Mayhew. He comes out and he's like, Callum. I think, and it's just a great moment. Just Joe Lando slapping Will Ospreay was beautiful. It was absolutely stonker of a slap. And then, of course, Callum Newman then pushes Just Joe Lando. Then, of course, it came down to the return of the bad times are coming. Paul Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Which I may have to get into some of the discussion behind this. But what it was a hell of a reaction. They absolutely went mad for it. The ballroom. There may have been one or two dissenters, which I'm not going to lie. I saw one person walk off when Will Ospreay made his first match. He literally left at the main event. That's because he didn't want to see it, and another person was giving it all mouth as he was trying to give a promo. But so Paul Robinson returns, and then you get this whole 3-on-3 match. Day 3, what a match. Swords of Essex, Callum Newman win. CPF walk off. Even Will Ospreay, he gets on the mic. He's like, look, I don't want this to come to an end. I want you guys to be, CPF. You should go be with your friends. And as Callum goes to join them again, Just Joe Lando turns his back and walks out. So does Danny Black. And then the last one is Maverick Mayhew. So what their future is on Progress, I don't know, because they are due to have a match. Callum Newman, Danny Black, and Michael Oku are teaming together for Riot Cabaret.
They are. Tonight.
So
No, sorry, it's the pizza one tonight.
it's the pizza one tonight, and good luck to everybody there on that show. Lost Souls Pizza, their pizza burnt down, so they were raising money to rebuild, and they put on a wrestling show, and it happened
Looks
tonight.
like a banger.
Yeah, and we would have talked more about it had it obviously not been tonight, and so we can't. But yeah, Riot Cabaret. They're doing a joint show with Attack Pro Wrestling. Friends Stand United. This is on the 30th of June. And as I mentioned there, Michael Oku, Danny Black, and Callum Newman are due to team together against Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, and the amazing Danny Luna. Should be a banging match, by the way.
Definitely. But that is going to be your last chance to see those guys for a little while in London because Progress have got a bit of a gap till their next show, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's because it was such a momentum builder, this Super Strong Star 16 weekend. But they're off to Canada and 2 weeks' time, the day before Forbidden Door, AEW. Of course, Will Ospreay will be involved in that. But yeah, Progress are doing a joint show with Defy Wrestling, which is great to see. And Spike Trivet will be defending the Progress Championship against Artemis Spencer, who has actually performed for Progress before in the past.
I'm quite excited for Charles Crowley versus Gringo Loco.
That's going to be a crazy match, actually. Gringo Loco is really, really good. You also got Session Moth Martina. She's going to be at the show facing Ali Catch, Nicole Matthews, and the Vixen. Be nice if there was at least one more Progress guy involved, because it doesn't seem like there's a huge amount. But the two will be teaming together in the UK when AEW come to the UK. So they're just following AEW right now. Don't blame them. Absolutely don't. But AEW are going to obviously be having. Is it All In?
Yes, it's All In.
It's All In. There we go. I don't follow AEW. I follow more Japanese and British wrestling than I do America. I try to keep up with just the news.
I understand that.
But I don't have huge amount of time to watch, because there's just so much great British wrestling that I want to watch. But as we say, AEW are, of course, in the UK, and everybody is gearing up to be part of the weekend, including Progress, as we just mentioned. They'll be doing 2 shows, one Defy show and then a Progress show. And the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith Jr., has been announced for the show.
Yes, he has. I'm excited about that because I love his work.
I've always been a big fan of Davey Boy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. Well up for that.
Yeah, so it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute brilliant weekend. They're not the only one doing it. It is, you also have Rev Pro UK. They're doing their 11th anniversary special, and they've gone big. They've gone for the copper box. They've gone for 5,000 seats.
That's ballsy. That is ballsy.
They've put Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi in the main event.
That's not the draw in the UK that I think they think it is.
They've never had a bad match. In fact, I honestly, not to use his rating scale but I don't think that they've had a match that's not been 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. It's like Shingo Takagi, every time they go up against each other, it's just magic. Ever since the junior heavyweight days into the heavyweight days, it's going to be a great match.
It is, but bear in mind that the day after, Will Ospreay is likely to be headlining Wembley Stadium.
Is he though?
Yes.
Is he though?
100%. I'll put my money on it. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll buy you a t-shirt.
Buy me a t-shirt. Oh, I just don't know. I mean, there's been a whole lot of discourse about the AEW show and whether British wrestlers should be involved. I've seen it on Twitter. I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter in the independent wrestling community. Sorry, go.
You don't watch AEW.
I don't.
At the moment, at the last big week's show on Rampage, Ospreay was the surprise attack at the end and battered Kenny Omega.
Yeah, but that's for Forbidden Door too.
Yes, which is the second match in the trilogy of matches. They've had one in Japan. They're now having one in Canada, where Kenny's from. They will have their rubber match at Wembley. Come on, internet, please, back me up.
Yeah, look, I mean, this would be an interesting. Will the trilogy end at All In, or will the trilogy end in New Japan rather than AEW? Will the trilogy end? I mean, will the trilogy end at Wrestle Kingdom next year?
Might well.
6 months between each match.
It could well, because you might have a win, and a double count out or a stop due to excessive blood loss, as it's an AEW show.
I think Will Ospreay's going to win a Forbidden Door. I think Takeshita's going to get
Ooh.
involved and he's going to cost Kenny Omega the match, and Kenny Omega will face Takeshita at All In.
And they still need to draw and sell some more tickets. I'm going with Ospreay.
They're at 60,000. It's not bad.
It's very
It's very,
impressive.
very, very impressive.
Quite
As I
interesting
say,
there wasn't a massive jump when CM Punk was announced, wasn't it?
it's very, very, very interesting. But I just, what's happened to Pac? He's been gone for like 4 months.
He has.
Well, what's up with that? He constantly just reappears and disappears. It's such a shame because Pac's such an amazing wrestler.
I genuinely don't know if he's injured at the moment. I don't have information on that.
No, but you know, I'm guessing Zack Sabre Jr. will be involved in Rev Pro UK. Whether he'll be also involved in AEW could be seen because he's been appearing recently on AEW and ROH television, hasn't he?
Yes, he's got a big storyline going with Samoa Joe in Ring of Honor at the moment, which should be a fantastic match.
Massive. Of course, these Chris Ridgway wants a match with Zack Sabre Jr. for the TV title because New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah had a big all-together match card sort of thing, and there was a tag team match between Chris Ridgway and Sean Legacy versus Zack Sabre Jr. and it's young Vegeta dude. I can't remember his name. I'm really apologize. He's the new protege for Zack Sabre Jr. over in New Japan. Great little wrestler. And Chris Ridgway and Sean Legacy won the match. And Chris Ridgway's like, I want a match. I want another match with Zack Sabre Jr. So that could be something interesting down the line. Definitely. Love to see that.
That definitely is a big draw.
Chris Ridgway's not the only one that's making waves in pro wrestling nowadays. Days on from British Islands. No, we've got Saxon Huxley is currently the GHC heavyweight tag team champions alongside Timothy Thatcher in the tag team you never knew you needed, but now it's all you want. Bring Thatcher and Huxley so well to DV, please. Bring them to the UK. Have them defend the titles over here, please. It would be such an interesting thing. And Jack Morris, again, he has been doing very well for himself over in Pro Wrestling now, a part of the Good Looking Guys stable.
Friend of the show, Jack Morris.
Friend of the show, Jack Morris. Go check out our interview with Jack Morris we did before he went to Pro Wrestling Noah. That's available, as we mentioned before, on the BodySlam.net YouTube channel. Search TNT, you'll be able to find it. It was he was actually involved in a match with Chris Ridgway at their last big show, Green Journey 2023, part of a 6-man match. So there's some crossover between Stinger and the Good Looking Guys at the moment, which has been very, very interesting. But back to Will Ospreay. And let's talk about Bullet Club.
Go on. What would you like to discuss about Bullet Club and their current leader?
Well, their current leader is David Finlay, of course, son of the incredible, amazing, legendary Irish wrestler, Fit Finlay.
Northern Irish!
Northern Irish, British, Irish. He was Fit Finlay was one of the best, and him and Regal always put on some of the most amazing hard-hitting matches that you'll ever see. We'll have to review one back in soon at some point, I think. Be a really interesting idea. But yeah, he has had 2 British guys join Bullet Club recently.
He has. One of them I'm very excited about. The other one I think I might have missed. So the one I know, Dan Maloney.
Yes, Dan Maloney has
over.
Will Ospreay forced Dan Maloney to go for a gauntlet and then offered him an opportunity to join the United Empire, which he took. Dan Maloney then went over to New Japan to compete in the Super Juniors. Congratulations on, of course, that. He's had his contract extended while he's out there. and he betrayed Will Ospreay following the tournament and has joined Bullet Club. He will be teaming with Clark Connors from the LA Dojo, part of the New Japan LA Dojo system. And yeah, you've got Dan Maloney, Alex, and the other guy is Gabriel Kidd has joined Bullet Club.
That one makes sense to me.
Gabriel Kidd and Alex Coughlin, you know, that big ass American. Yeah, gosh. They formed the tag team over in New Japan. That's just hard hitting, badass tag team if I've ever seen one.
They might be able to bring Bullet Club back. I mean, you've got Bullet Club Gold in AEW now, with Switchblade Joe White and
Rock Juice Robinson.
Thank you.
Or hard sub or something like that.
Rock Hard.
Rock Hard, that's it. Hard Rock. Yeah, Rock Hard. I don't know where Ace Austin and Chris Bay lie at the moment. I'm assuming they're alone with Jay, but we don't know because they're over in Impact as Bullet Club. Bullet Club is everywhere now. They're in WWE, New Japan, AEW. It's getting confusing, but the New Japan Bullet Club now has as their lineup Fit Finlay as David Finlay as the leader. Gabriel Kidd and Dan Maloney, of course, British wrestlers have joined the stable, along with Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, who are from the LA Dojo system. And you still have the House of Torture, apparently, are still part of Bullet Club as well. That's Evil, Show, and Yujiro Takahashi. And Kento is still also a member of Bullet Club. But he's doing his thing mainly in New Japan Strong and on the independent scene over in the America, defeating Nick Wayne to become the Defy champion recently.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, basically Bullet Club's a bit of a mess at the moment. But let's see what happens. Never rule it out. You never know what's going to happen next.
I like Drilla. It's Drilla Maloney now, not Dan Maloney as well over in New Japan. But I like the thought of Drilla Maloney and Gabriel Kidd as part of Bullet Club. I think, you know, I know a lot of people are putting their names down. They don't know who they are. And give these guys a shot. This is a vicious, hard Bullet Club. This is probably just, you know, not like the strongest as the best wrestlers, but as in just overall strength of the members individually that these guys will see to come, whether it be in the junior division with Clark Connors and Dan Maloney being probably the two strongest guys in the junior heavyweight division, and Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, who are arguably some of the toughest, strongest guys in the heavyweight division. This is a unique new stable, and I hope that Drilla Maloney and Gabriel Kidd can do something with it. You know, long before that, Gabriel Kidd actually teamed with Bullet Club.
Yes, I heard this on I think it was Jack the Jobber mentioned it on one of the Cultaholic News things. And I thought to myself at the time, Andy would have known that fact.
I did know that fact. I did not see him say that because I don't watch Cultaholic because they don't talk about the British wrestling scene enough. And they're a British wrestling media company, and they should talk about the British wrestling scene much more, considering the guys put together WCPW, which was one of the biggest and best British wrestling companies out there. And it's a shame that it fell apart. But yes, anyway, British wrestling, Dan Maloney, I think it's going to be a good thing. But Will Ospreay has responded to this finally in Rev Pro UK.
Mm.
And the most recent Sheffield show, after Leon Slater was the sole survivor in a 6-man elimination tag match, after Callum Newman and Will Ospreay had gone to war with each other, Will Ospreay, of course, picking up the victory, he was like, come to the back, we got to discuss something. So, whilst Leon Slater was kind of celebrating, out came Callum Newman and he attacked Leon Slater. He put Leon Slater down and he tied Leon Slater's hands behind his back, and then Will Ospreay got on the mic and he answered Dan Maloney, and then he absolutely battered Leon Slater, and at the same time pronouncing that if Callum Newman does what he sold, he will be an apprentice of the United Empire. I think he should take over the Black Tiger gimmick.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be absolutely amazing.
I got the idea when I bought the Prince of Pacer t-shirt at Progress recently, and I noticed the tiger mask. I was like, you know what? He would be a damn good tiger mask. And then I thought, well, no, actually, tiger mask has always been portrayed by a Japanese person, and it should always be the case. But Black Tiger, the original Black Tiger, the 1982 Black Tiger, was, of course, who, Big Daddy Dan?
It was, of course, Rollerball Mark Rocco.
Indeed, one of the best British wrestlers to ever compete in wrestling, Mark Rollerball Rocco. And I think Callum Newman would be an absolute badass as Black Tiger. The problem is you need to have a tiger mask, because you can't have Black Tiger without tiger mask. So New Japan would have to come up with a new tiger mask. Maybe either Zack Sabre Jr.'s little new protege, or Yuya Uemura, who's fantastic over in Impact right now. He would make a great tiger mask. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like,
What
rather than
about
coming out as Cam Newman and attacking Leon Slater, he could have come out as Black Tiger and done it. That would have been awesome.
Master Waito?
Master Watto. Well,
Yeah,
he's Master Watto, so he's established himself now as Master
he has
Watto.
got a strong enough
Yeah,
character. Okay.
yeah, he's really coming to his own. But Yuya Uemura, he would be brilliant. In fact, he teamed with Tiger Mask in the junior heavyweight tag last time Tiger Mask did actually feature. But let's move. But yeah, lots of things have been happening in Rev Pro UK recently, and not just for the fact that they've had 4 shows in the last 2 weeks, and another 2 shows before, but of course they're building towards Epic Encounter.
Hold on a minute. So they've had 4 shows.
Yeah.
Does that mean they've had what, 3 women's matches?
4.
Wow.
Yeah, they've had a women's match on every show.
Getting there.
It's high end every time
That's
against
fine.
a random opponent. No, they have actually been building a steady women's division in a way. It's still just one match a show, which is still, as you say, it's disappointing to see, but you know, baby steps. But they've built a really good little thing, and they've got like 4 people right now at the top of the mound. You've got Southside Women's Champion Sky Smithson. You've got the Rev Pro UK Undisputed Women's Champion, who is Alex Windsor. You've got Hyan, who recently defeated Sky Smithson in a non-title match. And you've also got Danny Luna, who was the former Southside champion. So at some point, they're going to unify that belt, and it's probably going to be at Epic Encounters. And it's probably going to be a fatal 4-way match, which I just don't think should be, because there'll only be 1 match. I think what they should do is have 2 single matches and then another singles match on the same card. They should, show them that they've got a women's division. I'd love to see those 4 women, as you say, in a mini tournament. And but we'll wait to see. It's probably going to be a fatal 4-way. They've also got Gabriel Kidd returning for the first time as now a member of Bullet Club. He's going to be facing Luke Jacobs. Great O'Khan. Sorry, what was that one?
That will be slappy.
Yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it? It'll be absolutely brutal. Greedy Souls are going to face Subculture and find out who is the best team in Wales right now. Is it Subculture? Is it Greedy Souls? Tell me, who's the best team in Wales?
Greedy Souls.
Greedy Souls. Sorry,
I like Subculture. I think you're really, really good, but I know that Mark Andrews is heading to TNA again for a little, to Impact Wrestling again for a little while, and taking the rest of Subculture with him. Greedy Souls. Continuity, quality of match, Greedy Souls.
Indeed. Zack Sabre Jr. is going to face off against Jordan Breaks, which should be a fantastical marvel of wrestling. If you don't know who Jordan Breaks is, a young lad, 20, very early 20s. If he's in, even if he's in his 20s, all
They're
these
all
guys are just
bloody
so bloody
young.
young these days. It's ridiculous. I'm not
Back in
telling you
our day,
anything.
wrestlers were old and fat.
Yeah, exactly. Now they're all young and flippy and they jump everywhere. How dare they? No, of course we love it. These guys are amazing. And yeah, Jordan Breaks, he's the new Zack Sabre Jr. He is an absolute marvel prodigy of technical catch wrestling, what inspired all of wrestling in the first place. Catch pro wrestling, British wrestling inspired the world of wrestling. But it's going to be a great match. And then, of course, you've got the main event itself. Great O'Khan, the British champion who hasn't been in Rev Pro UK for like 6 months, will be defending against Michael Oku. And, of course, this dies into the story that Michael Oku's first ever match for Rev Pro UK was against Great O'Khan. And it's where Great O'Khan also started his amazing undefeated streak in Rev Pro UK and in the UK. So it's going to be Mike. Would he take the title?
Yes.
Transitional champion?
Yes. But who do you think is going to get the title after him? And I'm going to go completely left field here.
Dan Maloney.
That's good. That would work. Chris Jericho.
Oh, wow. Why not? Why not? Yes, because Chris Jericho, as we know, is a huge fan of Michael Oku. Ever since he actually faced off against him, the Wolves of Jericho against the Master of the Half Crab. And he's become a fan of Michael Oku.
Let's be honest here. If Rev Pro could get Jericho as their champion, that is a big name to have had and a well-worthy person to hold that belt.
And another transitional champion if need be. But my money would be on either of Dan Maloney and or Gabriel Kidd to be the champion. Because, he does love his guys to be New Japan guys if they're going to have the title. It's something Rev Pro UK have always done. Ricky Knight Jr. came in, he won the title, lost it in dubious fashion. He's kind of disappeared recently. He just kind of suddenly wasn't wrestling in a lot of places. I know I have seen him announce a few places. British Wrestling Revolution have got him on the card soon. And he's going to be part of a new promotion in Southampton as well.
I'm going to be very careful how I say this. I believe there's been family issues that he's been looking after at home.
We'll leave it at that then. As I say, I do know he has been announced for British Wrestling Revolution, BWR, over in Grimsby, and they've got either their 5th or 6th anniversary coming up.
Believe it's their 6th.
Yes, it's their 6th anniversary, and he's going to be defending the undisputed BWR Championship against Will Cruz and Miles Kamen.
Nice.
What do you think? What do you make of Will Cruz? I think he's an excellent new heavyweight on the scene right now.
He needs a breakout. He needs a breakout match, and he needs to have a breakout sort of time where he gets pushed the way that he should be. I think he's brilliant.
Such as, could he be the next BWR champion?
Yes.
Could he be the man to take it off RKJ right now? Yes.
Yes. Convincingly. And you have got to be a hell of a wrestler to convincingly beat RKJ.
Indeed. They do have Miles Kamen in there so they can protect him, make it in a triple threat situation. Miles Kamen is obviously, he's a fantastic young wrestler as well, trained by Nathan Cruz at the British Wrestling Revolution. I think it's the Evo wrestling school that they have. And Miles Kamen is the prodigy coming out of there at the moment. Mm-hmm. Overall, it looks like a really good show as well. You got Leon Slater versus Man Like DeReese for the BWR Cruiserweight Champion. You got a 6 Anarchy briefcase match, which 2-Bit, Amir Jordan, Scotty Rourke, Joseph Connors, Brady Phillips, Tom Farewell.
Brady is amazing.
Robbie X versus Trent Seven. That should be a great match. Yeah, Brady Phillips is one of these guys that really needs he's another one of these guys that needs one of these companies to get behind him.
Now, I'll talk about PEW later on, and I will talk about them in a bit. But Brady had an injured arm for this. He wasn't able to wrestle. So he managed Ivy, and he managed Riley Nova. He should be a manager everywhere. He was fantastic. He was channeling the best parts of Jim Cornette. He was just absolutely brilliant. Started off on the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see by looking out, there's not a lot of you here. He was just, he was wonderfully annoying. He was in the right place at the right time because he's Brady Phillips and he's awesome. He's a brilliant wrestler. Now it turns out he's a brilliant manager.
Yeah, he's one of these guys that something like winning an Anarchy Briefcase match right now over in BWR could really be some type of breakout moment for him. So this is all going down on the 8th of July, as we mentioned. It's Grimsby in the Cleethorpes area. But I really like BWR. They've really done a lot of great work with a lot of good young wrestlers, including the likes of 2-Bit, who's a fantastic wrestler, and we'll be dropping an interview I did with him a couple of weeks, well, almost a month ago now. It was bad timing for the interview, but we'll be dropping it next week for you guys out there, because it will be a weekly show, but it will be 1 week interview, 1 week talking about the scene itself. So we're going to be chopping and changing on a weekly basis. But Amir Jordan's off to Canada.
Yep.
He's going to a tour in Canada, so he's doing a final little tour. I know he's going to be with North Wrestling NCL next weekend, and they've got a big card lined up, which I do have somewhere down here.
Yeah, it's going to be taking part. It's Thunderstruck on the 15th of July at the Walker Dome, and they've got a lot of special wrestlers in.
They certainly do. So this 15th of July at the Walker Dome, this is going to be their first show outside of the Anarchy Brewery since they moved to the Anarchy Brewery. The Anarchy Brewery only held about 250, maybe 300 stand-in, and they were selling out every time they were in show, and it's definitely the reason why. It's because it's fantastic. I've been to a North Wrestling NCL show. It's almost like no other, the support that the Northern crowd have over there. It's an amazing. They make everything feel special. And I'm sure this huge, they're normally an over 18 show, but for this one, it's going to be family friendly as well. But as I say, big names lined up, including Mercedes Martinez, Gangrel, Joey Janela, Scotty Too Hotty, or Scott Garland, if you like. And the show's going to be headlined by Slater versus Slater for the North NCL champion. That's, of course, Liam Slater and Leon Slater. So people who don't know, Liam Slater is Leon Slater's trainer. He's his coach. He's an amazing wrestler. Yeah, he's one of absolutely, I think he's a fantastic wrestler. Recently joined the Wrestle Carnival Pure division, and great addition to that lineup. But yeah, Slater versus Slater, coach versus student, that's going to be the headline. And as he mentioned, that's actually on the 15th of July, and they're building towards it with one show next weekend, which is Greetings from Thunder Road. And this is on the 24th of June. This is a great lineup as well. Hyann versus Evie Bateman versus Chantel Jordan versus Alexis Falcon. The Puff Body Slam Challenge.
I love a body slam challenge.
I had to look this up. Puff is an American independent wrestler, and he weighs over 400 pounds.
Yeah, I've seen pictures, and he is a large gentleman.
Where's Shreddy? Come on, are you ready to come back here? Or is he still out injured? Maybe Joe Hendry or someone like that. But as we continue, Rory Coyle versus Ace Matthews, Riho versus Luke Jacobs, Millie McKenzie versus Natalie Sykes, Amir Jordan versus Michael Oku, Will Cruz versus Shigehiro Irie, and Liam Slater and Boisterous Behavior, that's Man Like the recently on and Liam Slater, versus Bad Boy Jim, which is G Money and Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos 1 and Kid Lycos 2. Also, Kid Lycos and Kid Lycos 2. Should be that's a banging card.
It is. It is indeed.
As I say, North NCL really do put on some special shows over in Newcastle. Definitely a company people should get behind. You can check out some old shows on their YouTube channel right now. Their more recent shows are all available if you subscribe to Fight Plus. We can also see some ICW. Let's talk ICW.
We can talk ICW. ICW, I felt at the end of last year they had a bit of a with the losing of the WWE thing. They sort of it felt a little like they lost their way to me. They do seem to be coming back with some great matches at the moment. They have a new champion as well.
Yeah, so Leighton Buzzard was the champion. He held that belt very well, very distinctively. He took the belt all over the world and defended it in places like Canada and Austria and Germany and Italy. He was just defending the belt here, there, and everywhere. A real big fan of Leighton Buzzard, and we'll talk about the fact that he's now actually left ICW with this, and he has seemingly moved back to England because he's originally from Bristol. I believe he's now moved back to compete for Rev Pro UK on a full-time basis, while also making appearances for guys like Pro Wrestling Chaos, Wrestle Carnival. He's also become a member of the WXW roster, which is great to see. I'm a big fan of Leighton Buzzard, and really interesting to see where his journey takes him next. I mean, he really did rise through the ranks at ICW, didn't he?
He did, very much so, and he put on some stellar matches. Particularly for me, some of his standout matches when he had that one-on-one with Martin Kirby, when Kirby was just coming back, that was absolutely fantastic. And when he had fantastic Irish guy,
LJ Cleary.
Thank you. God, him and Cleary were fantastic.
And Cleary himself actually has also been making appearances now for WXW, which is great to see. They have seemed to replenish their roster a little bit with some British talent, including Michael Oku, Luke Jacobs, Leighton Buzzard and LJ Cleary, and Charlie Morgan to the women's division. It's
a pretty strong collection of people, isn't it?
If you're going to pick some people, you know, that's almost, that is some of the best you're going to pick.
So let's just go back over ICW. You got Aaron Echo is the new ICW World Champion after defeating Leighton Buzzard after cashing in his Square Go briefcase.
Yes.
We have got Chris Bungard and Paul Craig, UFC fighters. Chris Bungard and Paul Craig as the new tag team champions. For me, if you're going to have a UFC fighter in there, you should give them gold because they have built up their reputation as arse kickers. So I can understand that. Jason Reed is the new ICW Zero G champion. Not sure how I feel about that one.
I was always a big fan of Jason Reed. When I first got into ICW watching via the WWE Network, I said the first time I saw him, I said, stick a rocket on that man's ass and send him to the moon.
Yep, he's not a Zero G style wrestler.
He's not, but he's a
great wrestler.
I guess. A great wrestler as well, yeah, as you mentioned.
Rio is still the ICW champion. Fantastic. Love Rio. She's got all of the talent in the world. And Ashton Smith has returned to ICW as the new #1 contender. And I would love to see
he just had that match, actually. And I'm assuming he lost, considering the match that's been lined up for Suge's sake. It was ICW Fight Club. It was last weekend. It's not on Fight TV yet. It will be on Fight TV in the next couple of weeks, no doubt. But Shaw Samuels looks to be the new #1 contender. But it's great to see Ashton Smith back in ICW. We were always a bit surprised that he hadn't turned up more places when he had got his release from the WWE. So it's great to see him back there. I think ICW needed him. Losing Leighton Buzzard. They probably suffered more than a lot of the English promotions, considering that, I think more Scottish people were taken and kept by WWE.
Yep.
Do you think all of the Gallus boys on top, whatever, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Wolfgang, they obviously kept their jobs with WWE, Alba Fry, Isla Dawn, obviously, as well. So they didn't get as many back as other promotions did. So having Shaw Samuels, Ashton Smith, and Kenny Williams is added a little bit of star power to ICW, which I think they did need.
Yeah. Yep, can't argue with that.
But let's see. They are, as we say, they're building towards Shug's Hoose Party 8.
Hoos.
Hoose Party, which is on the 13th of August. As I say, the heavyweight championship match is going to be the one Aaron Echo versus Shah Samuels. There is an ICW Fight Club taping coming on the 15th of July, with Shah Samuels and Jack Jester set to face Aaron Echo and Kenny Williams. Liziero has also been announced to return to ICW for that show as well.
That will make everybody happy.
Indeed.
Right. While we're on the big companies.
Yes.
Let's go for Pro Wrestling Eve.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Eve are going to be super busy in the next month or so. Definitely something you should definitely check out, because Dave books shows for both the Money in the Bank weekend and the All-In weekend. And during the All-In weekend, they're teaming with a Japanese promotion, Choco Pro.
Yes.
Yes. Chris Brooks has been part of it.
Dude, you're my Japanese genius on this.
May Segura is amazing. She's fantastic. She's one of the best Japanese women wrestlers, to be honest. I'm a really, really big fan of her. Go check out a clip. It is May Segura versus Azumi. So just type in May versus AZM. MEI versus AZM. You'll get some clips come up, and they are absolutely phenomenal. Azumi's just amazing, but we're not a Japanese channel. I'd love to talk Japanese wrestling, but we're not a Japanese channel. As I mentioned, but yeah, Pro Wrestling Eve, they're going to be teaming with Chocobro. The hardcore fans out there, they're going to know, and there are going to be people who know a bit more about it than myself. They do have some connection to DDT Pro. I do know that, and as I say, Chris Brooks regularly competes. They typically do wrestling, but not in rings. So go check, just check out some clips of Choco Pro on YouTube out there. You've all got the option to Google something. Go do it. Learn more.
But before that,
as we mentioned, they've also got also the Choco Bro show is going to be at the Dome on the day after, or was it the day of? Bear with me, because
while you're looking at that, I'm going to talk about the show that they're going to be running when Money in the Bank is in town. They're going to be presenting No Money in the Bank at the Yard Theatre on July the 2nd at 1:15. Emerson Jane defeated Rio in a #1 contenders match and will face Miyu Yamashita in the main event. Other matches include Chantel Jordan versus Sapphire Reed, Nina Samuels versus Billy Starks, Session Moth versus Devlin McCarb, The Uprising versus the M62 Wrecking Crew, Alexis and Lizzie, and the Rock and Rome Express, great name, Rain Leverkusen and Laura Di Matteo will defend their tag team championships against whom? We don't know
somebody. Yet. Maybe the winner of the Uprising and the M62 Wrecking Crew. I know they do that. Because Billy Starks will be making her return to Pro Wrestling Eve. She was recently competed in a mini tournament, which she won, and then she faced off against Miyu Yamashita for the Pro Wrestling Eve Championship, match that she lost. Great match. Go check them out. They're available on Pro Wrestling Eve On Demand, which is available on YouTube. It's $8.90 a month. They're constantly posting things in there, so there's always something to watch from their old shows and clips and videos and interviews. there's always something available for people who do subscribe to it. And I would recommend subscribing to it because it is a great way to support women's wrestling here in the UK and in Europe, because they are the biggest women's promotion in not just the UK, but in Europe. And of course, it's going to be headlined by Miyu Yamashita versus Emerson Jane. Emerson Jane just defeated Rio in a number one contenders match for the right to face Miyu Yamashita. And as you mentioned, that's going to be on the 2nd of July. The Chocobro show and the Pro Wrestling Eve Chocobro show will be on August 26th. One show at 2 p.m. and one show at 9 p.m. The Choco Pro show will be at the Yard Theatre, and the Eve and Choco Pro show will be at the Dome. And that is August
99% sure I DJ'd at the Yard Theatre about 10 years ago. Random.
There you go. And they've got another show coming on July 16th. Riot at the Yard Theatre, and Sapphire Reed will have her toughest challenge to date as she takes on Mercedes Martinez. And Sapphire Reed is amazing. I love Sapphire Reed. I think she's the Millie McKenzie of the new generation right now. She is a fantastic young competitor. Go check her out, her matches against Danny Black for UKPW. Also check out some of her matches from Purpose Wrestling. Fantastic wrestler.
And those UKPW matches are free on YouTube, our favourite price.
Indeed. And so are most of the Purpose Wrestling matches. So definitely go check them out. And she's been on I guess you could call it a crusade to prove herself at Pro Wrestling Eve. She's waiting to get that big win. And it's a great little story. It's definitely worth following. And so make sure you check that out. Go check out Pro Wrestling Eve. Let's move to the big company that's in Liverpool, TNT Extreme Wrestling. Of course, Effie's Big Gay Brunch is available to watch now on Demand Progress, and we recommend everybody go out of their way to watch that, support that show. Big Gay Brunch will be returning in 2024. Effie will be returning with another Big Gay Brunch to Liverpool and TNT Extreme.
And hopefully it won't be on at the same time as Eurovision, which means I'll be able to go and watch the damn thing and get a hotel room.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, yes, we won't be hosting Eurovision next year, I don't think. Anyway, but they just had one of their big events of the weekend. They had two huge shows from both TNT Extreme and TNT Ignition. They've got new women's tag team champions. The Liver Birds, Harley Hudson and Lizzie Evo. They defeated Angel Hayes and Molly Spartan to become the new women's tag team champions. Congratulations to Lizzie and Harley Hudson, two of the best.
Yep, saw them being interviewed by Simon afterwards, and they were very happy. Very polite, well-spoken young ladies.
That is exactly who they are. And there is a new TNT Extreme champion as well. Big Effing Joe is the new champion of the Extreme division and deathmatch stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not got a lot more to say about that one. Yep.
Yeah. They had Callum Newman in action against the incredible Dean Allmark. That was on TNT Extreme. They had Charles Crowley and Alexis Falcon defending their titles against Leon Slater and Session Moth Martina. And this is all going to be available in a few weeks on Demand Progress, as well as the TNT Ignition show, which they've kicked off a tournament to crown a women's TNT Ignition champion.
Yeah.
So they had Lana Austin versus Leah Raven and Lucy Sky versus Lucia Lee. Lana Austin and Lucy Sky have advanced in the tournament. There are going to be two more first round matches. It's going to be Chantel Jordan versus Rain Leverkusen and Harley Hudson versus Aurora Tevez. I'm sure they'll be featured on a future show coming up. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, let me see. Lana, Lucy Sky, Ray Leverkusen, Chantal Jordan, Honey Hudson, Aurora Tevez. I would go with Aurora Tevez.
Nice, good pick, good pick.
Lana is a good possibility because she could go on and do more things. Lucy Sky's brilliant. Ray Leverkusen is brilliant. Chantal Jordan, huge following, absolutely brilliant. But for me, I quite fancy Aurora Tevez
I'm a big fan of
as the
Rory
winner.
Tevez. She is a little spitfire, of course, born in Canada, now competing over here in the UK. Sean, I'm going to go with Chantal Jordan. You know, I've always been a big, big fan of the bad girl.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimate kickboxing background. She is an absolute badass. So I'm going to go with Chantal Jordan to pick it up.
Let's just take a second to talk about Rain Leverkusen.
Yes, who's she the daughter again? Is it the drummer of Iron Maiden?
Niece.
Niece, sorry.
Yes. Where was she 3 years ago?
Nowhere. Now she everywhere.
Everywhere. And she's putting on absolutely brilliant matches. She has flown up the ranks all across the UK. She's got a great look. She wrestles fantastically. Absolutely brilliant. Let's keep watching Rain Leverkusen and see if their year keeps going as strong as it's starting.
Yeah, I saw her have a great match against Hyann actually very recently in Rev Pro UK. So
Awesome.
she's also made her Rev Pro UK debut very recently. So yeah, a young lady who is absolutely making a storm. I almost picked Rain Leverkusen, but I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go bad girl Chantel Jordan. As I say, she's got a huge following. Of
Now,
course, TNT are
okay.
actually launching a new promotion again. Siren's Fury.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Siren's Fury, yes. TNT, well, just Siren's Fury. It was an all women show. They had held a couple of them, Siren's Fury. It's now going to be its own promotion. So it's going to be another new all women's promotion in the northeast of England. Northwest of England. I know Jay, I know TNT. They've got a great group of women up there to build around with, like the Lizzie Evos, the Rios, every person in the Ignition tournament was just mentioned. Chantel, Rain Leverkusen, Harley Hudson, Aurora Tevez, Lana Ross. There's so many, and it's again, yeah, support women's wrestling and support Siren's Fury when it launches on the 27th of July. So good
Not
luck
far
to him.
away.
Yeah, not far away indeed. So go. Of course, the week before, on the 14th of July, it's Thrill Kill, the death match, the second death match tournament of the year for TNT Extreme. Slightly different setup because it's going to be a fatal four-way semi-final. So there's going to be four qualifying matches and then a fatal four-way final.
It is going to be an exciting tournament. It always is. I know
BA
it's not your cup
Rose,
of tea, but I will enjoy it.
you certainly will. BA Rose,
Yep.
Michael Caden, Emerson Jane, Tom B, Joey Janela, Paul Robinson, and recently announced is Clint Margera. So is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, Clint makes 7 that I've got at the moment. Also the show, Gene Money versus Gangrel. And if you haven't checked out Gene Money's promo about Gangrel, do so. It's hilarious.
Yes, yes, it is. I'm really looking forward to seeing Gene Money in person at the next United show, the Mutts Nuts.
Let's talk about United Wrestling Live UK. You were there at their last show.
I
Double figures.
was, I was there for double figures, and it was such a good night out. It was lovely to go along, and I went with friends. I had a good time, and the matches I saw were great. They have going to have a rotating group of special ring announcers. This time they had Stephen Andrew from Cardiff, who was excellent, really good ring announcer. We had Harry Sefton and Rex Armstrong in Rex Armstrong's retirement match, taking on Adonis Payne and Artemis. Artemis and Donis Payne, the Odyssey, were defending their belts, and it was a great match. They really picked on and made sure that Rex wasn't able to get to the ring. Finally, they did get the win and the pin on Rex. And then Harry Sefton turned on Rex Armstrong and battered him. And the crowd were not happy. And that will teach him to leave his tag team partner in the lurch.
Well,
it will. It wasn't very nice. We then had the Battle of the Joshes. We had Josh Nomax and Josh Spicer. So that was good fun. Really enjoyed that. Excellent match between the two of them. They were batters. Lots of calls of "Let's go, Josh," and "Let's go, Josh." And then, unfortunately, there was a beatdown of Josh Nomax afterwards. And Josh Spicer came to his aid, which will lead to a match at the next show, I am sure. Kira Chimera took on Violet Knight. Kira Chimera is scary.
She a badass.
Do you know how scary Kira Chimera is?
Very.
She asked for a beer. Nobody gave her a beer. I was sat front row. She had my beer. She drank my beer. She gave my beer back to me, which I thought was quite polite, without throwing it on me. She then demanded more beer from me later on during her match, which I was, again, more than happy to give to her because she is a very scary individual. She won quite convincingly and called out Scotty Rourke. And I am very excited because their last match was just unreally good. We had the Battle of the Brothers to start the future-proof number one contenders gauntlet match. We had Simon Quest versus his brother, and I'm just going to double check, Dale Johnson. So Dale Johnson and Simon Quest, the size difference is quite similar to myself and yourself. There was quite a significant size difference between these two gentlemen. Simon Quest battered his brother, but his brother sort of rolled him up and was a little bit cheeky. Went for a little bit of a below the belt shot. We then had in the match Judah Sexton, Richie Delight, Harrison Leon, and the captain. It was good. It all went through, and then we had Handsome Jack in there as well. It was a good match. Then one of the funniest things I have seen in a very long time. We had a match. It was the United Wrestling Championship four-way match. Jackson Hart versus Memes versus Charles Crowley versus our favourite, Truman Roswell. Truman Roswell felt that having to wrestle a championship match in a four-way match was a conspiracy. And he was not willing to have this go on, and he was going to demonstrate his disgust by supergluing his hand to the ring apron. So he was the first one out. He superglued himself out to the ring.
Oh, Truman. Never change. Never change.
No, please don't. Everyone was wrestling around him. Double super kick to the head while he was stuck to the ring. He kept shouting out, "I didn't think this through!" It was brilliant. Jackson Hart kicked his hand off, so his hand became loose. He did a beautiful slap to the chest of Charles Crowley and then was stuck to Crowley. It was fantastic. It went down to Crowley and Memes as their storyline has gone through for many shows through United, and Memes won. It was an excellent match. Crowley is a star. Truman Roswell is a star. Memes is a star. And Jackson Hart is a up-and-coming star. Our main event of the night was Nico Angelo versus Aluna Blue. Now, I had a little word with Nico. Do you know how many podcast interviews he's ever done?
How many?
2.
One with us and one with Grapple Theory.
I believe so. He is so good.
Amazing. Current TNT Ultra X champion.
Now, the last time I'd seen Aluna Blue wrestling, she was good. It's about January of last year. And I enjoyed her wrestling. I thought she was very good. What the hell she has done in the last year and a bit, I don't know. She's found some kind of super serum of wrestling. Uh, she could be auditioning for CPF. She was flipping, she was flying, she was technical, she was just absolutely brilliant. I was so impressed by the change in Aluna Blue's style, the way that she wrestled. She was phenomenal. This match was brilliant. Everyone was on the edge of their seat. They're both amazing wrestlers. And I came out with a We Are United t-shirt that I bought for myself. And then, for the second time, I won the raffle.
Thanks.
And I won another United t-shirt, which I got for Amy, my wonderful, wonderful wife. So we both have We Are United t-shirts. And it was very cool. And I was also given a t-shirt for my daughter Evelyn by Adonis Payne. So big shout out to Adonis. It was a great show. I can't wait for the next United show, which is going to be headlined by Gene Money versus Memes. Thank you, United. You are always good. And I have bought tickets for the next show, and I have bought sofa tickets. So it will be good.
Of course, you were ring announcing once again recently, weren't you?
I did do some ring announcing recently. Did ring announcing for PEW. And I did it for To Be or Not To Be. And that show is now available to watch for free on YouTube, where you can see my pretty face as I do the announcing. Now, that show was very good fun again. I'm just getting the list up so that I don't miss out any of the matches, because I would feel slightly guilty because I have got rid of my list of matches after the show because I am so flipping useful. Right. We had some great matches with Chocolate Thunder at the beginning. Chucky started off the show. He is loved. Everyone likes Chocolate Thunder. And we had so many matches. I'm not even going to be able to describe them all, so I'm just going to go through them quickly because we're running out of time. Riley Nova versus Smashing Mike. I do love Smashing Mike. Versus Adam Bolt in a fatal three-way match. Three-way match. Great match. Really, really good fun. Super fast, super great. And Riley Nova is your new champion. Not sure quite how I felt about that because, you know, it's our boy Smashing Mike.
Mm-hmm.
We love Smashing Mike.
We do love Smashing Mike. He never gets tired.
He never, ever gets tired. And he cannot wait to be doing more tag team matches as part of West Side Heat. So we had a really good women's three-way match with Ivy versus ZZ versus Vane Leverkusen. Really good match. Ivy, of course, is Ivy. So that was really, really good. I did a nice interview with Riley Nova, which is available to watch on the YouTube channel as well. We had the great match of Jason Joshua and Lucy Sky versus Nina Samuels and Kian Kelly. Yeah, you love Kian Kelly, don't you? He and Nina work together so well. The sly tactician. Yeah. Our main event of the evening was Lance Rivera versus Styx. Lance is rather good.
He is.
Lance is very good. Styx is huge. There's not a lot of British wrestlers that I stand next to and are taller than me and are twice as wide as me with muscle. Holy cow, this guy is massive and he's lovely. And I finally got to meet Nina Samuels, and I was really excited because you know how much we went on about how much we enjoyed Nina Samuels matches in NXT UK. We always thought that she was just absolutely
Amazing
brilliant.
talent.
Yeah, really. Turns out she's a really lovely person as well. Um, so yeah, I was really, really happy to meet them. And they were absolutely lovely. Everyone was lovely. Dave Bradshaw has put in his recording now because his commentary partner got battered. So it'll be interesting to see where that leads on to. And we should be interested to see now. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make the next show, which is a shame because I hear rumors that they might have a returning wrestler. I can't say who it is, I'm not allowed to, but be very excited for who it is, even if I'm not going to be very impressed with who it is.
Very interesting. Right, before we log off, Wrestle Carnival's second anniversary is coming up 30th of July at the HMV Empire in Coventry. Gauntlet for Gold match featuring Alex Connors, Kieran Lacey, Corey McRae, Leighton Buzzard, Robbie X, and Nathan Cruz. 6 men who are fantastic wrestlers. Flash Morgan Webster versus Lance Rivera. Ray Leverkusen versus Ivy. Chantel Jordan versus Amira. Lizzie Evo versus Sapphire Reed. Leon Slater versus George Lydon in the battle of who is the future of Wrestle Carnival. And you can find out more about their careers within Wrestle Carnival on WrestleCarnival.com by an excellent article. Young writer by the name of Andy Moore put it together, detailed their entire history. For you at Wrestle Carnival. You got Chris Ridgway versus Emerson Jane for the Pure Championship. There's a great article about the Pure Championship, how it came about, and all of the bouts that have taken place over the course of its history. Go check that out on WrestleCarnival.com. You've also got CJ Carter versus Man Like the Reese for the Wrestle Carnival King of the Carnival Championship. You can check out the details of Man Like the Reese's reign with Hail the King article available on WrestleCarnival.com.
I've got to say, I'm not saying this because you've been writing some of their articles. Their website's really good. A lot of wrestling companies could sort of like take guidance from how that is.
Indeed. And my articles are really good.
Well, there is that as well.
I feel I'm just putting together a few details about some of the matches that you get over at Wrestle Carnival because big fans of what they do. Other shows, Pro Wrestling Chaos. After the sold out loss of Chaos this past weekend, Pro Wrestling Chaos will be back in action on the 5th of August with Burning Ambition at the King's Academy in Bristol. Attack Pro Wrestling are back, and they've got their 5th show coming on the 4th of August in Cardiff. Thank God it's not Winter Slam. Wild Boar will be defending his Attack Championship against Jay Joshua. Should be a great match. I'm a big fan of Jay Joshua. Soft Pro Wrestling, their Boiling Point show is now available on their Patreon for just £3.50. Go check out Ninja Mac in action, Kid Bandit in action, our good friend Ian Skinner in action, Simon Miller, and many more. Heard great things about the show, and I'm looking forward to catching it as soon as I can. Catch Pro Wrestling are back. Welcome back, Catch. We were always big fans of Catch before their hiatus. So welcome back, Catch. We're joining you back on the scene after a hiatus. They just had an all-women show, and they're putting together a hostile tournament, a monster tournament, a heavyweight tournament, which has been set up by Big T over at Catch Pro Wrestling. So this is taking place in Manchester on coming soon. Date to be decided. 24th of September. Date has been decided. Looking forward to this. Big fan of heavyweight wrestling. It's been on a renaissance in British wrestling recently. We were talked about a lot on the podcast previously about how we were loving this emerging heavyweight scene. Great to see a company really pushing that. There is a new company in Southampton. They're kicking off on the 9th of October. You've got Zach and Ricky Knight in action, Chantel Jordan, Joshua James, Gideon Gray, double action, Sean Action Jackson. They've also got a championship tournament that features JJ Gale and the Wonder Kid, Johnny Storm.
And they are called Monday Night Pro Wrestling.
Yes, Monday Night Pro Wrestling on Southampton, a brand new company. Always here to support new promotions as they kick off. Our good friends at Ignite Pro Action have got a great card coming up. If you'd like to lead off that list there, I'll find
Potter
out what it
Mills
is.
versus Corey McRae versus Smashing Mike for the championship. Wow, that's going to be good. James Taylor versus Michael Oku. Mark True versus Charles Crowley. Scotty Rourke versus Nino Bryan. That would be brilliant. Aluna Blue versus Artemis. Josh Spicer versus Tommy Lawrence. Now, I think we've actually missed a major piece of Brit Wres news.
In a minute, because that Ignite Pro Wrestling show will be in Borehamwood on the 23rd of July.
I think the biggest piece of Brit Wres news that we haven't mentioned, and we're not going to go into it, we'll save it for our next show because it's not going to change, is a retirement.
Yeah. We'll have to do some sort of retrospective.
Yeah. Doug Williams has left his boots in the ring.
Indeed. We're going to look back on his career in 2 weeks' time. We'll put that episode together for you all, or some of classic Doug Williams matches, and talk about them as we do. Our good friends in Slam Masters Wrestling are going to be back in Cardiff on the 1st of October. We're back at the Banking Hall too. Going to have Impact Superstar Ace Austin and Impact Superstar Mark Andrews. Big fans of Slam Master, everything they've been doing in Wales, and I will see if I can come down on the 1st of October, because I really wanted to see Ace Austin in action for quite some time. I'm sorry if we haven't covered all the promotions out there. There is just too much, and there was a lot of wrestling news that we had to catch up with, because we've been on hiatus for like 3 months. I know it was supposed to be an hour. It's been an hour and a half. We do apologize for that. Thank you for sticking with us all the way. And remember, support British wrestling, support independent wrestling, support independent wrestling podcasts to support independent wrestling, and just don't feed those trolls.